The village of Islip is about 6 miles northeast of Oxford. And these days, it's home to some 600 people who'd love to find some actual evidence in the ground to prove their link with Edward the Confessor. I don't know about you, but I always get really confused by all the English Saxon kings and their elaborate names, so I'm very pleased to see this bloke. Sam.
Morning, Tony.
What are the dates of Edward the Confessor?
1042 to January the 5th, 1066.
And what's he famous for?
He's famous for keeping the country safe for a generation and for the great building project of Westminster Abbey, but on the downside, big succession crisis because no children.
So then you get King Harold, arrow through the eye, and William the Conqueror.
That's right, and Battle of Hastings.
Why is he called the Confessor?
It's a name given to him long after his death, once he became regarded as a saint. A confessor is like a priest, a monk.
This is very quick history, this, isn't it? Do we actually know that he was born here?
Well, as far as we can tell from the charter in Westminster Abbey, which we're going to have a look at tomorrow, the fact is he was born here according to his own word. So, to begin with, we're going to have a go at finding this medieval stone chapel, built in honour of Edward the Confessor. And this illustration by antiquarian Thomas Hearn is the only clue we have to what it actually looked like. Helpfully, Hearn tells us that it was situated to the north of the church, which probably means that it's now buried under one of these gardens.
That little square there is where the map maker shows us the chapel. It's tiny and it's the wrong direction.
But on the other hand, if that's the east end of it, it would be over there somewhere where the blue sheet is. It would mean it would be coming back this way.
I'd be incredibly happy, wouldn't it, if that were right?
That would be better, wouldn't it?
And it extends underneath our feet, so there's something up to that sort of size.
Yeah.
So we're going to extend one of our test pits in this garden to cover that possibility, even if one of the residents has other ideas.
Damn thing! You got it!
So with a trench in this garden and one in the timber yard, which has just got going again, we've got 2 possible sites for our chapel. The chapel was built more than 150 years after Edward's death, which would put it in the reign of Henry III. This would make sense, as Henry was obsessed with the memory of Edward the Confessor, who'd been made a saint in 1161. Henry rebuilt Edward's Abbey at Westminster and may have been responsible for building the chapel in Islip. He was keen to popularise the figure of Saint Edward and encouraged the cult following for him that was growing in the 13th century. As usual, Phil's working incredibly hard for the cause. But is he wasting his time? Stuart's got some news for us.
Whatever you're going to say to us, Stuart, you better say it soon, as you're going to get buried, I think, because the way Phil's going at it there.
Am I right in understanding that you put this trench in on the basis of a deed?
Yeah, a little map with in the deeds,
yeah. It's supposed to show where the site of the King's Chapel is.
That one, yeah.
This deed, showing site of King's Chapel and the little building there, is actually a straight copy of the 1922 map. Over here, we see a little building.
And in fact, the antiquity sign is in the wrong place.
That's right.
It's in the plot next door.
Over in the lumber yard over there.
Truth.
Hold on, so where it says here, site of King's Chapel, and we've dug in this one.
Yeah, but it's
actually referring to this cross.
It's referring to that cross.
And that's the cross that's in the lumber
they
yard.
didn't put the cross on there, look.
Phil, you're digging in the wrong garden. Mick misinterpreted the map.
Hey, hang on. Several people misinterpreted the map.
Oh, hang on.
He's going to start chucking.
Why am I in the wrong garden?
Because the big X that says site of the chapel is actually next door.
Over there.
As if we could ever have doubted it, Edward was born in Islip. And believe it or not, just now in the garden of Confessor's Gate, we've made a remarkable discovery celebrating that very fact.
Now, a bit of glass.
Isn't this just what every archaeologist in the world would like to see if they're digging a historical character? Fessor.
Fantastic.
What do you think that is?
Let's see. It looks like it's early Victorian or something of that period, early 19th century. And I suppose it's not Professor, can't be. No, it must be Edward the Confessor.
Oh, it has to be, doesn't it? It wouldn't make sense otherwise.
After the chapel is used as a barn, so I'm not sure it's from there. And I don't know what, I mean, do you think there's a portrait of him above or something, or maybe there's a rhyme, maybe...
Well, I don't like to disappoint you, but we've also found in, so, or id, possibly. so it doesn't quite tie in as well. But
Maybe in a garden of Edward Confessor, he kept us a bit of a guesser.
No.
We'd hoped to
Slow
find more,
down, John.
but oh, what a bore. Instead, we found Edward the Lesser. Maybe that's it.
Raksha, how's our chapel getting on?
It's not really a chapel anymore.
You're kidding.
No, it's a more humble building. It's a privy.
You're joking.
So you've got a cesspit, in fact.
Yes.
Why? How do you know?
Found lots of degraded feces, I'm afraid. There you
Colour
go.
of it down there, look.
And what's this thing here?
It's a nice kind of cauldron vessel, cooking pot that we found.
And you found it down the toilet?
Yes.
I can't imagine what it was doing down there.
What date is the cesspit?
The cesspit is about 17th century.
I can't believe it. Yesterday we were convinced we had a medieval chapel here. What happened? Raksha, as Queen of the Trenches, how could you mistake a medieval chapel for a 17th century toilet?
Well, it just shows it's an easy mistake to make.
So it's not here. What a way to end a dig. I don't think I've ever felt so disappointed. What really hacks me off is that I'd assumed that at the end of the programme I would be standing here surrounded by one of those fantastic Time Team graphics of the chapel with those great walls shooting up in the air and that huge roof and those very interesting windows, and instead I guess you'll have to make do with a drawing of some old bloke sitting on a 17th century loo. Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses and behind-the-scenes insights.